Okay, so this is your. I just want to go through this, so you have some idea of what you need to do. So I'm going through the reference implementation and tell you that which part you need to implement. So the part you really need to implement is exactly the same like homework assignment number 5. So if you look at Emacs command.cpp, unfinished. Wait a minute, where is that? Let's just say JDOM. Okay, so you can see that here it says whenever there is a piece of code saying that to be completed by f2021 and 2021 student for homework 6, that's the part you need to implement. So essentially, this is the code under JDOM. This is a code under JDOM. And for JDOM, I already kind of provide a framework to help you a little bit. For example, how do you handle some of the basic check and also handle the ID part? I mean, ID part tends to be a bit confused. By the time now, you should be able to do that yourself. I'm just leave it there just for you to check on certain things. Okay, and then I did the checking code, of course, whether you have those. And then this is basically saying, well, how do you actually implement the part for the author, for the JDOM, and the created time. And I actually did the message already, and this part is reactions. Reactions part, you can see that. And what I did, this is really give you a nice boost for you to do that. So both reaction and text are vector. One is the vector of a reaction object. One is a vector of text, because we actually allow people to put text. So I actually leave the text part there. So you can actually take a look how I actually handle the text part. So the way I handle text part, you can see that I'm checking everything. The most important thing for you to check is whether that particular new reaction or new tag is already exists. Because I said there's one important thing about JDOM is actually need to support merge. And in the merge, you have to check whether that is a duplicate or not. If it's a duplicate, you don't do it. So the same structure, you can actually use it for the reactions. You can see that what I did is after here, I got a tag I created, and then I just push the tag into the vector. Okay, so this is from the JSON array that pushed to the C++ array. How do you do that? So this part is showing you how I can handle the text part, tag, and then you will be responsible to handle the reactions part. Okay, just the other way. You can probably remember homework 5. The most important thing, the most challenging part is probably handle how do you actually move a C++ array into JSON array. So now this is a reverse direction for you to do that. Okay, so this is the one piece of code you need to handle in comment.cpp. The other piece is in reaction.cpp. I consider this part is actually pretty straightforward. You can think about, for example, reaction.j is very brief, right? Because it doesn't need to be more extended. So the JDOM for reaction is also going to be really brief. This 2 or 3 part is actually should be very simple. So the reactions JDOM should be fairly simple. The more challenging part is in the JDOM code in the comment.cpp. So that's basically what you need to do with homework assignment number 6. Just fill in those two spots. And the thing is, the driver is already there. And then you will be able to test your program. Let me just show you what the driver looks like. So I have 2 programs, actually 3 programs. One is HW6 merge. That's actually going to use the code is provided to you. And HW6 produce is essentially try to producing a from a JSON object to a C++ object, and then reproduce that that C++ object. So the output should be equivalent as the input. So that's HW6 produce. HW6 merge is actually putting two JSON objects, and then you can actually try to get the output. So you can actually see here, this is the base output. This is base input JSON. That's actually, this one is specifically credit for you. That one, you can use it for test, HW6 produce. And then what you can do is that now you use merge. You use this one merge with, I give you two updates, update 1 and update 2. And one of the update will have the text. So, but you don't need to worry about text because text is already being implemented there, okay? So that's actually homework assignment number 6. Any question? Hi, good morning. Okay, now I'm going to go for homework assignment number 7. So I really want you to work on homework assignment number 7. The homework assignment number 7 essentially contains all the elements that you have been developed this quarter. You have, of course, now you get the idea about how to build a realistic both social media assistant and search engine together. That's the watered down version of a really complicated scenario. The logic is essentially the same. All right, and number 2, this homework including the JSON RPC to allow you to really implement this using the RPC mechanism, be able to allow the client, which is the like a browser or whoever want to use the search engine, be able to connect to the server as connect to the search engine as a server. All right, so just let you know, because of JSON RPC, the first thing you should look at, there is a Rpc Spec, which is this one, ecs36b HW7, homework 7 f2021 is already included in the reference implementation. So let's take a look at what it is. You can see that this is just like your homework 3, but now we have only 2 functions. And each of the functions is one JSON. So you can see the first function is called update. The second function is called search. So update is for you to update a new item for other people to search. So essentially update is write to the server and search is read from the server. All right, so there are 2. If you think about it, you can do read and write. You can pretty much based on this, you can do anything you want with the system. Okay, so it's basically read and write and read. Update is the write to the server. So the idea, why I said homework 6 and homework 7 is actually together, because when you do an update, what the real operation is that you actually use search to obtain a social media discussion like a post. And then you're actually going to create a local content. The local content means you want to add a new reaction to the content or the new comment to the content. And then you use homework 6 merge, which is using JDOM. They're going to merge these 2 together. So you search, you merge, and then you update. So what's happening is that now your new update, your new reaction, or your new comment can be seen by the rest of the social media community on that post. So that's actually very general, very simple. 2 functions, and plus homework 6, you can actually do a lot with this, this kind of simple architecture. Okay, so this is the JSON RPC is actually much simpler than your homework assignment number 3. All right, so that's the 2 function. So then you have to worry about the client side and server side. So I actually provide you the client side. Client side actually is very simple. So your job is trying to implement the server side. Okay, assuming you already done homework 6. So for example, just tell you that you have to be careful in the homework 7. JSON, sorry, homework 7 reference implementation for the JDUMP. For the JDUMP, I also don't include the JDUMP, and I also say, hey, you have to basically, you can see that this is part that you have to take your homework assignment number 6, and that's exactly the same file, and then put it there, okay, in order to make that work. Okay, that's your homework 7 comment.cpp. So I will show you what's the different thing, but I want to first show you homework 7 search. So homework assignment number 7, homework search, I actually already talked about this once, but I want to go over one more time, is that there is a file called search class JSON, which I will show you that's actually going to be for you to include like the keyword, just like you use a search engine, you have to say search ecs36b UC Davis. Type to Google. So essentially the search JSON class, search class JSON will include that information through JSON RPC to let the search engine knows about that. So here is a code. Let me just go through this very quickly. Essentially this part of the code is just like your homework assignment number 3. It's just trying to set up. By the way, this is a search. So you actually set up your RPC. So I'm actually running in the local. So that's why it's 127.00.1. And I use the port number 55407. You can use whatever number you want because everything is local. So you can control both the client side and server side. Just make sure that that port number on your server program and the client program, they're matching with each other. Okay. And what I did is I actually take that search class into a JSON using the function myFile2JSON, which is the facility that we developed for helping you to do this kind of programming between JSON and C++. And then over here, I'm just doing some keyword checking. This code, by the way, is in the reference implementation. And you basically load it up with all this JSON. Oh, sorry, I get it back. I think I'm doing, okay, here is a search. You see that you get the keyword. If the keyword, everything is okay, you extract the keyword, and then you actually go to get the search. You just call the function called myClient.search. That is the JSON RPC call with that single parameter search string, then send it to the other side and then try to retrieve. The interesting part, just for your information, is that I already provide this part for you, is that the result JSON. The result JSON is a list of posts. That's actually going to be as the result how many you got. And that is also an array. And that part is basically the code I actually provided here. So you don't have to do it, but this will be educational for you to actually take a look how this part can be done. So essentially this part is actually doing the checking and eventually is doing new posts, because for every post I extract from that array, from the search result, I create a new post object and then I use JDUMP. I actually call JDUMP, and because your homework assignment number 6, you have done that work, then that post pointer JDUMP is going to nicely put that into your local client about all the posts you receive. Okay, and after I've done this, you can see I actually also call my JSON to file to make it more permanent. I actually write it to a particular file name I pick. So using dump J. So JDump going into C++, and then I dump J back, and then send it to the file. So that's pretty much a search engine is doing. Just send the keyword and get it back. Okay, so that's code is already given to you, but what you need to do is really HW6 server, which is like your HW3 server.cpp. You'll see that the code style looks really similar. So pretty much the first few lines until this point, they're essentially the same as your homework assignment number 3. Okay, they're just the same. And then the only thing that's actually going to be starting to look different is that I actually have a post.h here because I need to let the server knows about how to handle issue with posts. That's why you will see I have a post.h. That's why now you see I have a 2 map. One is a time map, one is a post map. Okay, let me tell you where you need to do. This part you see is exactly the same like your homework. Not exactly, almost. Homework 3, the way you declare homework 3 server, except now instead of those 4 functions in homework 3, now I have 2 functions. One is update, one is search, just exactly as specified by the JSON Rpc spec. And then now we're going to look at this is constructor. Now this the most interesting. This part is some of the facility for you to actually handle the time related event, which you don't really need to worry about that. About how do I use a time map. You're interested, you can take a look. That I mean, I should probably just explain to you why that code is there. That code is just trying to tell you whether this person is sending the search or update request too frequent. So the thing is that you can think about any kind of industry server, they want to prevent some of the situation is that somebody actually use a program to just generating a lot of this request, which will jamming the system. You think about in a situation like an Olympics event, where a lot of people want to see the result. So while the normal people will go there every few seconds, you can do that. But the thing is, some of the people with bad intent, they actually try to jam it to that like almost every single second. And this actually happened even more in the stock market when people try to grab the information. So this piece of code is just using the RT map to actually remember when was the last time this particular member accessed this particular service. And then we basically write a piece of code which we actually check whether time difference is actually greater than 5. You can see that I'm actually calculate the now time and the old time, and then decide if the time difference is actually less than 5 seconds. If it's less than 5 seconds, I consider that is some kind of issue we need to deal with. I report the error. Okay. So that is just let you know that routine is doing. Okay, so now the real one is HW7 server update, which is you can see that it's a request coming in with the update JSON. And then what you need to do is make sure that you provide. So essentially what you have is you receive an update, which as a JSON format. And what you need to do is you will need to convert that into a post object. Because when you do the post object, including things like a merge, because remember the post JSON has all the merge facility. So if you've done that correctly, what you need to do here, implement, is essentially doing create a post object, pretty much like what I show you. Let me actually show you that piece of code. Again, in HW6 CPP, when you actually receive it, here. When you actually receive the JSON, you actually call this post PTR new post, and then you actually call a JSON on the JSON value object that just report. So pretty much here, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to essentially create a post object, just like what I did over there, new post. And then you're going to do JSON to dump it into the object. And then you're going to do the save, because all the updates need to be saved. So that's why the code right below this part is actually written to the file, JSON to file. And on the server side, you need to do the same thing. You need to save it, because It's not client, it's crash. If you think about a server, it will die, but when it crash, that it need to save a file. That's why that segment code on HW6, HW7 search.cpp I show up there, it should be somewhere repeated or need to with slight modification in the update code here. Okay, so that's the part you need to do with HW7 server, part number 1. Oh, sorry. Show you. Okay, so that's the first part, HW6 update. So your homework assignment number 7, the first thing you need to implement is this one, is this part. Okay, any question? All right, so then the second part you need to implement is HW6 search. Okay, the search part is probably the most challenging part for the homework assignment number 7. But let me logically tell you what needs to be put in there. You already have a segment of code, but what you need to do is you try to do the thing in the right flow of information processing. Okay. So the first thing you need to do, let me tell you that I already have this directory built up here. Hold on. So I don't have anything in the post right now because I already removed them. Let me see, should I rebuild it? No, I'm not going to rebuild it. I'm going to use my example to tell you what it is. Yeah, I would just use this one to probably talk about this. Okay, there is one thing in the update that you need to do that I forgot to mention. Besides just saving it, the other part of update, which is important, is that you need to make sure you want to store the pair of host ID and the keyword OK under the OK directory. Okay, you need to store that because when you do the search, I would need that information. I showed you a demo a long time ago about this really operation, the solution, but I will show you later after I'm done with this piece of code, how it looks like. I need to change to a different directory. But that is essentially one extra thing you need to do the update. So, okay, now I'm going to do the search engine. The search engine, the step number 1 is extract the keyword. So what the keyword looks like, the keyword, remember, is related to the search clause. So the search clause here is the keyword. You can actually take a look at that. This example, the keyword is a keyword. In fact, in the reference implementation, I actually provide 2 sample posts from previous class that you can use it as your test cases over there. It has all the information you need, and you will have the keyword. Okay, the first one is actually getting the keyword and the search engine, and then going to the OK directory to extract all the post ID matching the keyword, the given keyword. Okay, that's the second thing you need to do. So now the next thing is that now you're going to bring that file from the directory. Then you go into the post directory to read in all the posts that matching the keyword. All right, then you will do JDump to create those post objects. Okay, after you've done this, then you have to put all the objects into an array, which eventually will need to be converted to JSON value object array. And then you basically return the result. So logically, this is all the things you do with search. Extract the keyword, go to that directory, get everything out, and then you, because those things that contain in the OK directory will give you all the object ID that's actually stored in the post directory, and then you basically just read that in. Okay, logical flow. I haven't shown you the code or how to run it. Not today. I did it the other day. We probably that time focus on something else. Any questions for this before I go to the code? Any questions? All right, so I'm going to go to that directory. But which directory? I have that. I have way too many directory. I have to check which one I think is the right one. I believe it's this one. Okay, I'm going to first compile. Okay, good. So I have a, let me first go to my server directory. I'm going to remove all the log. Let me just remove all the log. Let me see if I have any posts here. Okay, I'm going to remove all the posts. So the post is empty. Nothing here. I'm going to remove all the keyword. Okay, RM. So I have nothing here, nothing here. Okay, this is my server. So I'm going to run my server. I think this version I still using the HW6 server. So I'm actually running it. Now I go to the client. So now this is a search engine is completely empty, has nothing there. So now I'm going to the client. Okay, all right. So now you can see I have a two posts there. I'm actually going to use the first post. The way to work is this way. If I have a post looks like this, I would just say dot slash HW6 update. So for you, it should be HW7 update, and just put the post file. So after that, it's actually going there and then work on here. And I just want to tell you before I switch to the server side, if I look at the post I just got, is actually a post that you already know. It's pretty much like what your homework assignment number 5 or 6, except right now I have a new processing called keys. So this keys is already included for your homework 7 reference implementation. The handling of the key, you're welcome to take into the code about how to handle the key. For the key themselves, the class O key is already included. Okay, so here you can see that the key is just an array of the keyword that's actually searchable for this post. Means that if you enter any of those keywords, the A keyword that provided there, the search engine will match and send back the post. Okay, so that is a way that you can quickly identify which keyword go to which post. But most exciting part is actually coming to the server side. So you can see that the server already got a lot of things coming in, but I'm going to kill the server. But now you can see that I'm start getting something. You will actually notify a server update log. So the program already, you don't have to do anything. This is already included. It's actually checking the log about everything you actually get. But first thing, let's go to the post. You see now I remove, it's completely empty. Now this post is there. So which means that that post is through the HW6 update already put it in under this post directory. So then now this post becomes searchable. And also the other thing which is important is the OK directory. So now I have 4 files. So each of that, let me see, why have I 4 instead of 8? Let me actually check my post again. You see that here I put duplicate keyword. And when I did the update, I actually realized that some of them are already duplicated. So essentially, even within the post, the JDOM or OP is already merged those keywords from 8 keyword to 4 keywords. So no matter how many keywords you put in there, I actually will just make sure that there's no duplicate. Because I really don't need to have multiple duplicate keywords. So only 4 keywords. And those 4 keywords got represented here. Each of the keyword has a file called okAMG.list. So what is ok_AMG.list? It's basically including all the post ID that's actually have the keyword AMG. So essentially for each of the keyword, I'm actually have a file. So sometimes this is called indexing file. It allows me to, so any search engine has to have an indexing mechanism for you to index your content to the keyword. And you can use a table to represent, but the thing is that for any large search engine, you have to have some sort of file which is like this for you to be able to permanent what happens if your machine crash and things like that. You still have that index engine to build up very quickly. So let me actually take a look at one of the keyword, Kira, because we're going to search on this. Let's take a look at this file. This file, it looks like this. You see just the post ID. It doesn't have anything. Just say this keyword matched to this post ID. That's all. I mean, if you do update multiple, let's actually do another update. Let me run my search engine again. And then I will do an update on a different file. What's my second file looks like? Okay, the second file is this. It's a different file. So I will do update on the second file. Different post ID. Okay, I dumped the second file. Now a bunch of things happen. Now I go to my OK and I go to OK Kira. I think Kira has both posts in there. Now you can see there are 2 post ID. So basically your update is going to update your indexing file. And such that when you do search, that I will be able to go there to retrieve all the posts related to that. Okay, so that's the update part. Okay, now let's actually try to do a search. Okay, I have, of course, I should probably show you another part of the code. Remember, I cleaned this already, but under the post directory, I have a both. So essentially, your OP, which provide the indexing, go into the post directory to retrieve the content. Okay, so that those 2 are I just actually updated. Now you have that. All right, so before I actually show you how to do search, I just want to tell you the reason I'm showing you here right now. On December 7th, if your program is ready to run on December 7th, then you basically show me a flow like this. You have some posts, 1 or 2 posts on the client side. The server side should be all clean. And you do an update. After update, I will see that you have a post, you have the O key being generated. I know your update is correct. And then I'm going to look at your search, which I'm going to show you next. But if your program is not ready by December 7th, you have, or it's not perfectly running, you actually have a few days if you want to try to fix it. So I mentioned the latest time I can actually see your result or your homework 6 and homework 7 probably toward the end of the week. Okay, and then at that time, of course, we're going to use Zoom. And not all the member has to be there, just one of the member to show homework 6 and 7. Okay, so that I know some of you need to go vacation already, take a break. You all deserve. You work really hard this quarter. You really should relax a little bit. But one of you is, if not finished, one of you will sacrifice a little bit and then have a more extra fun time with me. All right. So just because I'm so lonely and my kids are already grown, so it will be nice. It's really a blessing for me to see you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay. Just remember my kids. All right. All right. So now let's do a search. All right. Search part looks like this. Let me first still do the server. You can see that now because I save everything permanent. I do jdump.j a lot, so I save the file. I actually can just let the server crash so many times. When I resume, all the data is still there. Okay, that's essentially what the industry search engine is supposed to do. Okay, so now let's actually first, this is client. Take a look at my search clause. Okay, search clause is Kira. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove my own post. Okay, I'm going to move star to keep. I just want to save it. So this one you see is basically nothing. I think my post directory is empty. OK directory. Oh, OK directory has something. Okay, I'm going to remove my OK directory as well. You know what? I forgot. Maybe my JSON or .j code already actually will push something to the OK directory, because I know that on the search side, I also try to do that. Let me see my search result. Is this search result also a directory? Oh, search result is just a file, I believe. Yeah, search result is just the JSON that I got from the search, but I'm going to move that search result out as well to keep. Okay, so now I have a pretty clean directory from the client, except the search clause.json. That's the only thing I have. So now let's actually try to run the search. So I do HW6 search. For you, it should be HW7 search, and then just put the search clause. Okay, boom. I'm actually sending over there to retrieve the result. Now let's actually take a look at the server side. Now you see those 2 posts are here. Those 2 posts are here, and then I don't have a search result, sorry. But this is the 2 posts. That's exactly what I updated earlier. Now I get both of them back. Okay. Let me actually do a little bit trick to see if anytime I say trick means that I have never done this before. It might crash. Let me check. Let me go to the OK. WC star. So all of them actually have a 1 keyword except Kira. So I'm actually going to look at the AMG. So this keyword OMG has only 1 post, not 2 posts. Kira matched 2 posts, but the rest of the keyword only have a 1 keyword. So I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to search. I'm going to remove this again. Okay, I don't have this anymore. And then I'm going to change the search clause from Kira to AMG. Okay, so now I'm actually search a different keyword. All right, let's run it again. Did I run the server? Make sure the server is running. Yeah, server has to run. Server is not running, then I have to change directory and to run the server. Now I'm actually doing the search using this one again. Remember, I changed that. So now this time, you see, I only got one back because there was only one post that's matching. So you can see that I successfully be able to match the keyword and go through the indexing file to actually realize which post needs to be included and send them back. Okay, so that's just the result you're expecting about this two-function update and search. All right. Any question? Okay, so I'm going back to academic search. I believe a lot of you want to talk to me for a final project. If you haven't had the first meeting, this is the highest priority. We need to get it done today. But if you already have any question, I would suggest you when you read the code, when you want to develop homework 6 and 7, don't hesitate to ask me to provide resources about how to look at that. I might actually be able to help you to explain something which I didn't explain enough in this lecture. And I might actually give you some pointer to some of the lecture, which I actually go over line by line of the code last quarter or last time I taught this course. Okay, all right, so see you a bit in some of you in the academic search.